week. You're welcome to Youth Empowerment Television Show here on Pan-African Television. I am Mametra, your host. This afternoon, my team has put together some student leaders for us to discuss GNATS proposal to the government on setting aside a new fund for basic education. Be a part of this conversation by sharing your thoughts and opinions with us on our WhatsApp number 053-1320-444. We're also streaming live on Facebook at Youth Empowerment TV Show. So if you're tuned in there, please leave your comments, your thoughts, opinions in the comments section, and I promise to read them for you as the show, in the course of the show. If you have questions, you can equally leave them there, and like the page. Also share the link so that other people can join the conversation. Today my guests are Emmanuel Tete Joe. He's the Vice President of University of Ghana Business School, and then Idrisu Hafiz, SRC President for SDD. Is it UBeats? Wow. Okay, gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well. Okay. Since I have a Vice President for University of Ghana here, I'm trying so hard not to comment on the happenings on University of Ghana. You know, you guys are just electing a speaker of, is it speaker?
Yeah, speaker for the General Assembly.
Then what happened? Why are you people trying to steal ballot box, and what is happening? What happened?
I think that will be another discussion.
No, I just want your opinion. What is going on there? Why are you people doing that? Because you people are the future leaders, isn't it? You are in SRC positions, so you have the potential of becoming the next Akufados and then the next, John Dramani Mahamas. Hopefully you people will stick and, keep your promises when you make them. But what's going on? What is happening on UG?
All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity. I would say I was at the scene.
You were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
Basically because I'm a rep at the General Assembly.
Okay.
Yet to be sworn in. So, the university setting as a university like University of Ghana, there is much tension when it comes to some of these things. So basically it was one or two misunderstanding among some groups of individuals that erupted to that, but it has been controlled now by the authorities. Yeah, I have few words to say about that. Yeah, because
I understand. You are a rep, so I understand.
I'm very careful about whatever I will say here. So
I understand. I completely understand. But I think it's very unfortunate because, we were the same people, the youth especially were the same people who were bastardizing Honorable Ahinkra, who ran out of, Parliament with ballot box and then was chewing ballot papers. And then now we see people who have the potential of occupying those offices doing the same. I think it doesn't speak well.
Yeah.
But hopefully tomorrow I'll have someone who will speak extensively to us on the show. You are trying to swear. Hafiz, do you have something to say about that? Don't you find it a little bit disappointing?
Oh, to me, from SDD UBSUA campus, I would say that students at this level.
We can't hear you. We really want to hear what you have to say.
Students at this level haven't fight over elections, and they are the very people that are going to man the affairs of this country, like you earlier said, that we will be the future Akufados and Bomias, and that of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana.
Yeah.
So, if at that stage we still cannot control ourselves based on the things that we like, whether Mr. Emmanuel is the Speaker of the General Assembly, if he can so deliver, we should follow the right process so that he will be able to deliver.
Yeah.
And if I'm the very person that can deliver, regardless of my religion, ethnic affiliation, I should be given the opportunity to do it. I believe that some of these things are the core reasons why they are always having issues at the campus politics. And that notwithstanding, if there's any even issue that at my campus, I think those issues are largely part of that. The ethnic, the tribal sentiment, the department that you are coming from. People would think that as he is from School of Business, he's not supposed to be the General Assembly Speaker. It is mandated for people within the large caucus group to have that control. And that one, when you are doing it, you will not inure to the benefit of the entire student. The very person that can serve to the betterment of the institution are always the people that we sometimes neglect. And when that happens, we will not get the benefit and the success development that we want in the various institutions that we so run and man the affairs of them as well.
I find it's very disappointing because, it constantly, when I see things like this, the only thing I ask myself is that, are these people fighting this way because they really want to serve, or is there something in their SRC position? Is there something in these positions that we don't know about? Are there benefits that they derive from occupying these positions that we have no idea? Because why would you fight so much to come and serve? Because if you're occupying these positions, you are there to serve the people. So you are fighting because you have good intentions to come and serve the people. I find that's quite a bit, confusing and
so for me, the only disheartening aspect of the whole thing springs out from what we call self-interest.
Okay.
So there's so much self-interest in everything we do now.
Okay.
And in economics, we all know this basic one question, which are two questions of economics, the two great questions of economics. I would derive one in this instance, where we have self-interest having impact on social interest. So there are individuals who have so much self-interest about the social interest, and that would bring some of these issues. Okay, basically, I was so sad when I overheard my colleague relating what happened at the main parliament house of that honorable member to our situation, that even at the main parliament house we had honorable members at that level doing that. So how much more this of the honorable member you mentioned?
Because
so it means that exactly.
I would agree with him, to whoever made that, to some extent, because they say
but
that,
no, that shouldn't give room to you, the younger stage now, to do that. So it means that at the very top, those we look up to are doing their own thing. So then the individuals, the younger ones, are also exactly. But we need to change the narrative. Basically, the university community, the university authorities have taken the issue at hand and they respond to that positively. Basically, that's what I can say for now.
Sure. Like I said, tomorrow hopefully I'll have someone who will talk extensively about it. Now let's get into our topic. Oh goodness, Ghana National Association of Teachers. They have complaints almost all the time, talking about their. This morning I was listening to one of them speaking that they've not gotten their capitation grants, and so head teachers and directors of schools have to run schools from their personal coffers, and some of them are running office from their personal homes, and it's sad because education is very important if you want to develop a country. It's very essential for a country like Ghana, who is now developing. But I want us to really talk about, do you think it's important for us to have a new fund set aside for basic education especially?
Thanks.
You can take it and then.
All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity. So I would look at the core reason why the GETFund, the already existing fund to support the initiative of education in this country or the public sector, was established, and where it has gotten to, and the loopholes, and where we can take it to from there. So the Ghana Education Trust Fund, which for short is the GETFund, was established by an Act of Parliament in 2000, and the main purpose was to strengthen and to fund or to be a supplementary source of fund for education in Ghana at large, for the primary level, the secondary level, and even the tertiary level particularly. Okay, so the question now, like the teachers are asking, if there should be a new, I would say that the already existing one should be strengthened, because if you look at something that is passed through Parliament, act becoming an act, it's just not done within a day. Okay, there's cost involved. So are we looking at setting up a new structure with that cost involved? I would say the already existing one, let's analyze the issues with the already existing ones. There are issues with it. Individuals are not responding. Those managing the resources are not doing the right thing. So the old one or the already existing one should be strengthened.
So it's not an issue of lack of resources, but it's an issue of lack of good management.
Exactly.
Okay.
I would say mismanagement of the existing resources that is bringing all these issues.
Okay. Rafi, do you think
Hafiz?
Oh my God, sorry. Hafiz, do you think it is important for us to set aside a new fund, or do you agree with Emmanuel?
All right. Let me use this opportunity to thank the management of Pan-African TV and also extend my pleasantries to the students. That's my constituents at one SDDU base.
Okay.
So the issue at hand, whether setting another fund apart from GETFund, is the bone of contention now. And for me, I believe that I partly agrees with them and largely disagree, because their point that they make mention was of the issue of supply of textbooks to their various schools.
Yeah.
If there are enough textbooks and government having the necessary supply of textbooks for them, they will not have issues concerning that. And maybe with that one aside, they will not talk about the setting of a new fund aside
for
the other one.
education.
So the issue here now is that managing the already existing one. If you are having an institution that you are managing and you want to carve it out, just like my institution, it was proper management of the UDS campuses that lead to the decision our institution gaining autonomous, and our people are actually doing well. But if in the instance that we are not able to manage the one that they've already given to us, and now bringing it to different aspect of it, then it will go a long way and will not help us. However, there are a lot of government, the shortfalls of the GETFund. Even though I'll go back to the success story. Let me start with their success story, because they've actually helped in building a number of institutions in Ghana from the basic level to that of the tertiary level. However, at this particular time, there are some shortfalls in it, and I would like to touch on it. That one, in my institution, for instance, we have 5 GETFund projects that are still dotted around and have not been completed for the past 7 years. So, as they have not been completed,
is it that not to cut you, but is it that previous government started it and then now new government has started new ones?
No, there's no new building in our campus, the old one. So I'm even using this opportunity to call on the administrator of GETFund, that is Mr. Richard Ampofo, for them to try as much as possible to complete our buildings in our campus. There are 5 buildings. One is an auditorium, one is a library, 2 are lecture halls, and 1 is a hostel. We are only having 4 traditional halls in our campus, which is woefully inadequate. Majority of students, we are about 8,000. The number of students that are even at the traditional halls, there are only about 600 students. Meanwhile, the other remaining students, they are always in town. Some of them, they are on the premises of Bamaho and private hostel. Meanwhile, the campus itself would have been able
5 uncompleted buildings that would be able to hold them.
To hold them, exactly. So I'm using this opportunity to call on them to do that, in as much as they are doing a good job, but they should continue with the existing projects that have been dotted around in the campus. And if that is done, students in my campus will feel happy, and the development can always take place, because a number of courses are being introduced. In my campus, for instance, we now have a decent among all the 5 northern regions. We're now having a law program.
Is that the block on your campus?
No, please.
Okay, so I believe this is one example of projects that have not been finished that are under the GETFund. Like I was telling you, gentlemen, before we started the show, when I went to senior high school from Form 1 to Form 3, there was a building there that was named GETFund Block. And they didn't complete it till I graduated school. If they've completed it now, I have no idea. But it is sad, because now it becomes a death trap. It becomes an opportunity for bad people to occupy this place, to even hurt students who are in those communities. So how long has these 5 buildings been on your campus that they've not been completed?
From 2016 up to now, nothing has been done to resolve it. So that's why I said for the past 6 to 7 years now.
Wow. I see. Here I was thinking that it is always the basic education that is lacking, or that does not necessarily benefit much from the GETFund or from budget allocations when it comes to education sector. I was definitely going to ask you why you think that it is always mostly the basic education sector, because you hear about their textbooks not being delivered, their infrastructure, they don't have enough chairs, teachers don't have enough equipment to teach them. Why is the problem always and mostly at our basic education sectors?
All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Okay, now, we always say that the foundation of everything is a key.
Yeah.
before I got the opportunity to be in a university,
yeah,
I had a very formidable foundation at the basic level, not the secondary level.
Yeah.
You have to be formed and taught at the basic level.
Yeah.
So there must be much attention drawn to the basic level. Those are our future leaders. Before the person gets to the senior cycle or the second cycle level, the basic level is the most important thing. If the basic level is whack and it's not handled very well, the person will get to the secondary level and it just continues to the tertiary level. So much attention to be given to those at the basic level, because those are the people that are going to train to be the future leaders in our secondary level, and of course they progress to the tertiary level. Of course, I still stand on the stance. I still have the stance on the premise I gave why the GETFund levy should be maintained or should be strengthened. Now, those government officials or those we have elected to lead us as part of these initiatives wouldn't pay GETFund and all those things from their own coffers. No, it is the individual, the ordinary citizens who would pool funds through the taxes and other things. Okay, so let's remind ourselves that GETFund has a tax allocation of 2.5%. Should a new fund be set aside, it means that we are introducing another levy.
Okay, so we are going to
oh yes,
bear the cost of
exactly, you are going to bear the cost.
I see.
A new introduction means you are going to bear another cost. So GETFund will be there 2.5%. NHIS will be there 1.1% or 1.5%.
Yeah.
Even COVID-19 recovery levy is also there.
Yeah.
So this is to the teachers out there. A new fund, the government officials, they are just there. Oh, you want a new fund to be introduced? They have no problem. But remember that you and I would have another levy to be paid to pay for that particular allocation to begin. If you are ready, why not? They'll introduce it. It's just a matter of passing it at Parliament.
And then they are sent to the bill, and then
exactly. So why not
not
manage the already existing GETFund levy for the right things?
But don't you think it's because the teachers have lost hope, or they've lost the value of the GETFund because it's not working for them?
Like I said, it's not working. We all agree, because I have gone down to the some of the deprived areas.
Yeah.
You know, my hometown is Somenya in the eastern region. I recently visited Somenya, and not in Accra, because Accra, of course, I had the opportunity to be in a little bit improved. You get it, but down there is very devastating. Do you get my whole point?
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, so it's about mismanagement. Let us analyze the whole issue, get the loopholes. If it's about mismanagement, let us get the right people to, through the research and development. Does the Ghana Education Service even have a well-endowed research and development sector to look at some of these things, to analyze the whole issue from the grassroots before we can look at solving it? Of course, it's just about enhancing the already existing one.
But I find it very difficult to understand why the problem is mostly at the basic level, because even if you look at the percentages that are allocated to pre-senior high preschool and then senior high school or the tertiary, the basic level is the lowest, and I seem to not understand why. Because if you want people to occupy the secondary cycle, you have to train them from the basic level to the primary before they can get to the secondary cycle. So why is our focus so much? It feels that way, and it looks that way, that there's so much neglect for the basic level, but there's so much investment. I think there's 26% of the allocation for the secondary cycle. Why so much focus on the secondary cycle and so much neglect for the basic level? What do you think could be the reason for that?
All right. Most importantly, we believe that the second cycle institutions are the turning point of every student. If your basic education, you are not having the necessary teaching materials in your school, but at the senior high school, you might be able to move outside your region, or maybe because most of the institutions in our localities, they are always at improved places, and I believe that the second cycle institution, if we are able to make it at that particular level, then that is where you will be able to move to the nation.
But if you don't make it from the basic
level,
the basic, that's where you learn how to speak.
I believe
that's how you build the person. So if the person is not able to speak, the person doesn't have now you say digitalization, isn't it? If these people don't have access to ICT centers, they don't have libraries. Some students don't know a mouse, they don't know a keyboard.
So why should we wait to the secondary level
to get to the secondary cycle before
exactly?
Exactly, because this is the foundation. If you don't build the foundation of your house well, and you build the middle part of it, it's a cost 90 something you're doing.
I'll take myself for instance. Actually, my community is in one municipal. That is done. At that particular place, we were not having the necessary teaching and learning materials. But when we were able to finish with our BEC, and we are sent to another school, that is Tapo Senior High School. That one was a little bit improved. And any student that is ready to learn can change within that level. But when you fail at the senior high school level, that one, it is doomed. I believe that much concentration should be made to be at the basic level, but we shouldn't disregard the second cycle institution, because that is the turning point of every student. If we are not able to make it at the basic level, that will change you. So on the basis of that, I agree partly with them to ensure that the GES, Ghana Education Service, they should also take much attention into the basic institution and provide them with the teaching and learning materials. If they are able to provide them with the teaching and learning materials, then at the end of the day, we have we have a place that we will all be happy about. So that is the instances that I'm coming from.
I see. Because is it the General Secretary for GNATS? He's spoken extensively on this. He says for basic education, the ministry spent on the average for the same period 9% on preschool, 9%, but 17% on primary and 15% on JHS. Now listen to senior high school. On the other hand, for the same period, the ministry spent on the average over 26% for senior high school and 23% for tertiary education. So if you look at it, secondary senior high school or the senior high level has 26. It has the larger chunk of it. You know, there's this assertion out there that the government is spending, or the ministry is spending this amount or this percentage on the senior level because they have the ability to vote and they can vote them in or out of power. The basic people, they are not.
No, everything is driven by.
But do you think they are in their rights to politicize this thing and make these assertions? Because it appears so. It appears so. Because when you look at the basic school, their feeding is not right. Their books, I don't know if they've gotten their books now. I feel very sad and sorry for the people who just wrote the BEC, because they started with the new curriculum, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I have extensively spoken about it on my show back and forth, about them not receiving their textbooks and how sad it is. Some of them don't even have desks to sit on to study, but you are spending you are spending what, 26% for senior high schools,
as against 9%, 17 and 15% respectively. That's very bad.
It's
woefully.
But I would agree with my brother on the allocation, still on the allocation. Now we all agree that if you look at the expenses or the needs of these two groups, that is those at the secondary level and those at the primary level and the junior high level, those at the secondary level have much expenses as because of course most of them will be at the boarding houses, so the expenses we should expect, so it makes it a bit reasonable to have 26 as against, but the difference shouldn't be that vast. 26 against 9%, it should be it could be 15% and 14% or 15% and 11% on the average. But the difference between the allocation to senior high level or the secondary students and those at the primary level, because they are if the foundation is not right, you're not going to get the right people. You have social vices, people who indulge in social vices to be at the secondary level. You spend and you spend and you spend on people who didn't bring you any benefit, so you make irrational choices. Do you get it? Comparing your cost to your benefits, you are spending so much on people who were not rightly formed at the basic level. Get them into the secondary school, spend on them again, but of course you end up making an irrational choice. after comparing your cost to your benefit, these people will not bring you anything. So if the foundation, like I said,
doesn't seem to agree with you on that. He thinks that even if you don't get the foundation right, you can.
No, I said I totally agree with you. Because the issue is that at a basic level, if you have not gotten all the necessary training, but when you move to the second cycle, that is the turning point. I'm not of the view that they should eliminate the primary level and go and concentrate on the second cycle level, because the second cycle level is also important. But as he was talking about looking at the numbers from primary 1 to basic 6, and even from JSS 1 to JSS 3, you could see that the numbers outweigh completely to that of the senior high school level. So the numbers will not be, there should not be a vast difference, because at the senior high school level we have institutions where we have accommodation for students. Certain things that we have government even procure buses for those people. So at the end of the day, we believe that if much concentration is even at the senior high school level, but the difference should not be of that large. So I'm also on that tangent, but there are a little bit varieties. That doesn't mean that I completely object to what he said.
I see. But do you agree with the assertion that is because these people have voting rights? Because when we were in senior high school, I saw a number of my classmates and my mates who were carried by teachers, in fact, in buses and in cars to go and register to vote for a certain government. Do you agree with that assertion? Because it's very much out there.
No, if we talk about setting gap, we just all face the fact the government in power now is
it's an obvious fact. It's very much obvious.
But I would treat that critically. I was taught in critical thinking. That is someone's opinion. Like you said, that is someone's assertion about the whole thing. And that person will look at it from another point of view. Now, there have been several governments. In power, there have been several governments, but this particular government, for the past 2 terms, have been able to utilize the resources into this. Whatever ulterior motive they have behind, you and I don't know. We may have opinions about their ulterior motive. Of course, they have been so smart to have this, and they may use this as a campaign message on any day. That is them. But they have used government resources to do that. So I think we shouldn't have a problem with that. They have been so smart to do that. So I think that is so clear. But as to the ulterior motive, of course, they will point out the positive aspect of the policy to you, but the motive behind it, you and I probably wouldn't know. Of course, we will stand from one point and say it's because of the votes and the things that they need. But we can't conclude here as to whether that is a motive or that's not a motive. It could be one of them. Because we are all politicians, so
I see.
And there's nothing free.
Oh, I see. There's no free
lunch. There's no free lunch.
I see. I don't know why our leaders seem to have a lot of opinion and a lot of, should I say, ideas when they are in opposition. Former President of the Republic has spoken about this issue, but let me inform my viewers that they are equally invited to join the conversation. Our phone lines have been open and the numbers will be displayed on the screen, so you can call and share your thoughts with us. Do you think that this advocacy by the Ghana National Association of Teachers is very important, or should it be allowed? Should we accept a new fund to be set aside for basic education, or should, like my brothers here have said, should we strengthen the ones that are already existing? So former president graced an occasion and then a graduation ceremony, and he said that former president has stressed the need to adequately resource the Ghana Education Trust Fund, which we term GETFund, to ensure the delivery of quality education in Ghana. He described the current financial constraint of GETFund as worrisome, adding that the situation was negatively affecting education outcomes. In fact, let me even tell my viewers this, that the allocations that have been made to basic education and to other to education in Ghana would further reduce in the course of the year up until 2025, because we are aware that we are at IMF, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So it will reduce. He further comes to say that as a catalyst for sustainable development, education must be tackled holistically to enable the country to drive maximum benefit. He said, in as much as access to education was important, it was equally vital for quality of education to be enhanced to, I think I have a caller. Hi, good afternoon. Hello. Okay, if my producers can work on it, I don't think I can hear that person. So he seems to have a lot of ideas. That's
Can you hear me?
okay. I can't hear him. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
This is calling from what?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I'm finding okay. I didn't get your
Can you
name.
hear
Could you
me?
come again?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I was.
Hello. Okay, so basically
yes,
the former president is trying to say
can you hear me
that
now?
education is a leveler. Poor quality education tends to widen the gap between the rich and the poor in our country, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. He's spoken lengthy about it. But did we not have the same issue in his term? Did we not have GETFund not, working adequately like it is now in his term?
All right. Actually, to comment from that angle, the angle of which he's coming from, I think it is
Okay,
in the right direction.
hold that thought. I think I have another caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
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 Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Hello.
I can hear you. You can go ahead. Where are you calling us from, please, and your name?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I want to contribute to the show. Hello.
Okay,
You can
I
hear me?
cannot hear him in the studio.
Yeah, I want to contribute to the show.
Okay, contribute. We can hear you now.
My opinion is that the reason why the attention have been shifted to the second cycle than the basic, I think is because in the second cycle they do a lot of practical work over there. So much attention, maybe much resources are being put over there. Because when you look
Hello,
at the
are you
science
still
department
there?
like this, they do certain practicals.
Okay, I think I have lost him, so
Probably
you
the
can go on with
technical.
your point.
Okay,
The
from
technical
the
department
angle of which
also.
he's coming from,
So
I
much
think
resources.
that is he's right. And GETFund, we should concentrate on our educational sector. And even if it's internal, there were some disparities in external. But as a citizen of Ghana, he has the right to also put the government on track.
Okay, I hear you.
So he has the decision. He has a right to put the government on track. And if he's also in power, then someone can also put him in track. And if we are so doing that, we believe that opposition parties are there to put the government on track, so that our Ghanaian community and the students that we are so recent to be the best and serve to the interests of our country will get the necessary training. But if that is not done, we will not get the necessary training. Just like I always cite an example from my yard. Right now, when we went for the Central Committee meeting, the NOX National President, His Excellency Chairman Upon Daniel Kewodi, he gave appointment to someone who will be a NOX administrator for 3 years. If that is done, we are having someone like that, irrespective of the government that is in power. But he put them on track. For instance, the building that are being dotted in our campus, the person will tell them that continue with this. When you are able to done, then you move to the other aspect of it. But if you go to different places or you can start with other things and you are not also able to finish them, at the end of the day, we will not get the development that we want. But I believe that if from the angle that His Excellency KOD came with, if we are also able to do that as a country, get someone who will be a facilitator, regardless of the government.
I have another caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, your network is more than I think your network is more than
I apologize for the bad network, but I can hear you now, so you can go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Are you still still there. I think if they can share our
Can you hear
lines
me?
for us, because I can barely hear him, and he's also complaining
Yes.
about
Good
the
afternoon.
network not being good. I have seen
Yeah,
some reactions
I'm
on
still there.
Facebook. So is it Jordunia? I think so. He says, "Good afternoon. Watching you live from Wa. We are proud of you, Idrusu Hafiz. May the good Lord be with you." But do you think the issue is because we have politicized everything, including our education? Because if there was a policy in place that's stated or that made sure that we would enforce the completion of every project that is done or that is dubbed under GETFund, we would have these issues.
Yeah, I think that is so. Going forward,
Yeah.
okay, we should have those systems put in place.
Yeah.
So regardless of the government. So the question I've been asking myself before
Yeah.
I come, the question I've been asking myself: should there be a change of government? Okay,
Yeah.
would there be the continuation of free education? That's one question.
That's a question for the gods.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we have a policy in place that regardless of the government, because GETFund is a very good thing.
Yeah.
Regardless of the government, we should have a pool. But the only thing is, would the monitoring process be enhanced? If there's a serious monitoring and control over everything, then I think we wouldn't have some of these lapses, of course. But if the monitoring and control is very weak, we'll have individuals doing their own thing. Let me remind you of this. I recently checked beneficiaries. Yesterday at Great Hall on campus,
Yeah.
GETFund is like doing a town hall meeting, visiting some of the campuses in Greater Accra, okay, to engage the beneficiaries and potential beneficiaries. So I was recently going through the beneficiaries of GETFund, and to my surprise, the rich and the well-to-do, like MPs, some MPs and ministers, are beneficiaries of GETFund.
Seriously?
Oh yes, beneficiaries. I wouldn't mention names here, but then some MPs, some ministers are beneficiaries of GETFund. The question now is, why should they be there? Because of course, if there is any funding for them, they could fund it themselves. But those individuals, the classes, look at the classes of people I've mentioned, are beneficiaries of GETFund. It's against. So if you're having 59% allocation, is as a result of some of these people on the GETFund beneficiary list. If these people are taking off to go and fund their own education, whatever, masters or PhD, then of course the allocation could move down and reduce the
people who are supposed to benefit from it would actually benefit
exactly.
from it.
We have a problem with those classes of people benefiting from GETFund, but let us
I have a problem. I have a problem because you are well-doing people who can afford.
Oh, yes.
Who can afford. So why put yourself there? I mean, such a country that we live in. Anyways,
So
but do you really think that the policies can stop them? Because we have a policy in this country that bars everybody, any landlord or landlady, from taking rents advance above 6 months. But we are here and people...
It's about monitoring and control together with
who is supposed to
enforcement.
control that? The same government?
So we are
Or a different arm of government? Checks and balances. Is that what you're saying?
You get it. So very weak, and we have in accounting a theory, capture theory.
Yeah.
So where the people who formulate the policies are the same people to check about the implementation of the policies. Of course, if they are not checked or if those policies are not implemented, no one dares to ask them or question them. So the capture theory is clearly here. The person who is giving you the policy is the same person mandated to implement the policy. If the person hasn't implemented, there's nothing you can do. But there should be separate bodies. You formulate the policies, and we have another body to check and implement.
The problem is that these bodies, how should the establishment of these bodies go by? Through the same parliamentary process? Should they be voted for? What is the process? But I am very sad now because when I look at our education system, especially now for the people who are in the Volta region, some of them who've lost their schools.
The place.
Now, what is the Ministry of Education doing? How are we going to pull these children back into schools? How are we going to, put them back into classrooms so that they can continue studying? Because most of them are in their basic schools, isn't it? Basic education system, So when you comment on that, you wrap up with that for me.
Okay. Ghana Education Service.
Yeah.
I believe that in conjunction with the head teachers can make sure that they involve the various assembly members and unit committee members,
Like
we
grassroots.
believe that that particular instances or every community has its own people, the people that they value. For instance, if you are elected as assembly member of every community in Accra here, that means that they believe in your destiny, your representation. That's the reason why they give that mandate to you. So if we are able to bring all assembly members together in connection with the head teachers of various institutions, let them know about the plight of these children, the consequences, the future consequences of those children not going to school or attending classes. So if that is done, we have we have their representation in school, and if we have a representation in their school, it will go a long way to engender the development we always want in Ghana. Because we believe that regardless of wherever you are coming from, you have the right to have
education, quality education.
So also moving from that aspect, I believe that it will help as well. If that is done.
Okay, wrapping up with that, because I have just about 3 minutes to go. So wrapping up with that, do you have people that you want to send shout outs to or something?
All right. Let me conclude by saying that my warm regards to all the students in the Simon J. Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development States. We gained autonomous in 2019. And when we gain autonomous,
you people are very proud of your autonomy.
We are very proud. Because
you've spoken about it.
I believe that we are now having a law program of which I can invite you to also come. People within the country, you can always move to the north and also have experience of how the place is. At the end of the day, if you're having your master's to do in PhD, you can move to that place and have an experience of that environment. When I'm also having my master's, I also come here. So that at the end of the day, we see the diversity of culture that we are always having in the country. So in this regards, I will just send my warm regards to the Student Representative Council and SDGBs and also the management and staff of that university and all friends and as well and within the country as well. So I'm much grateful to USAC and to National Union of Ghana Students.
I see grateful. You are holding their booklet.
That's true.
I was just about to comment on that, but I don't have the time to do that. Emmanuel, how do you think we can continue, educating these people, because it is their rights, it is their basic rights. We cannot take it away from them.
Okay, so thank you very much for the opportunity once again. And I would say that the authorities like the Minister of Education and his entourage can get in touch with the officials or the authorities at the teachers level to hear from them their challenges. Okay, like you said, we can pick it up from the grassroots. It's always good to pick issues like this from the grassroots, not to pick it up from the top, from the ground, and we would solve them. Okay, and on the issue of my shout outs to my people, I would also say emphatically that at the business school, we also have a small something like GETFund we do, which is called the endowment fund. So the endowment fund is purposely to pool funds to pay academic fees of students.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've made an investment with one particular bank, previous administrations before I even came into power, and purposely to pay the fees of students, but you must make one condition. Your CGP, we have a minimum CGP you must make. So I'll use this opportunity to also reach out to anyone who is watching me, who can come, any government official who can come to our aid. Just like the GETFund, we are paying fees of students. Every year we do it. Even tomorrow we have a vetting session for students who have applied to benefit from the endowment fund at the business school. Of course, we have been given a notice from the Dean of Student Affairs that course registration deadline is Friday. So students who will not be able to make it should write a letter in advance to defer their courses. It was like, wow, you get it. So these are some of the challenges we face at our level too, basically. So thanks to the person who recommended me to for this show, a very good friend of mine, Hilary Esther Quay.
Okay.
And then and all my friends who are watching. It was a short notice, but I had to respond and come. I look forward to having more sessions like this.
Definitely. Once you've come here, this place, once you come here, you would always want to come here. So it was good to have you gentlemen. I believe we had a good conversation, and hopefully would meet again on the show. But Pan-African Television is putting together some funds and receiving donations to go and help the people in the Akosombo community, because it is a sad situation. We accept clothes, toiletries, mattresses, food items, cash donations, and anything that you think is of value that can be of good for the people in those communities. Kindly make your donations or payments to 0551 521 So the numbers are on the screen. Kindly pick them. No amount is too small. I would repeatedly say this, no amount is too small. So please make your contributions, your donations, so that we can put ourselves together and go and help our fellow country brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Pan-African TV and choosing to spend your afternoon with me on Youth Empowerment Television Show. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe.
Truly African.
It's said everyone has a story. China has almost 1.4 billion of them. From the mega cities to the vast countryside, from the ancient to the ultra-modern. It's our job to bring these stories to you, direct from one of the most rapidly changing nations on the planet. I'm Laura Schmidt, and we're rediscovering China. Today, we explore the vibrant city of Hong Kong in all its shapes and forms. From its famous ports, wow, it's moving pretty fast.
This is my office.
To its finance sector. From its ancient traditions, and it's a family business that's been around for 3 generations, to its new beginnings. They will start to light up in a fluorescent green. Join us in rediscovering Hong Kong. When Hong Kong became a British colony in 1842, it was just a sleepy fishing village of 7,000 people. In 2017, it has over 7 million inhabitants and is among the most densely populated cities on this planet. We track the different faces of Hong Kong over time and take a look at some of the challenges it faces today. When it comes to Hong Kong, the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, its port. Its strategic location helped it to grow into the busiest port worldwide by the turn of the millennium. And even today, despite more competition, it still ranks 5th globally in terms of volume. Most of Hong Kong's shipping passes through the port of Ching. In operation since 1972, today it employs around 190,000 people. That's over 5% of the Hong Kong workforce. We visit Modern Terminals, the port's second largest operator. Their containers are stacked to a breathtaking height of up to 7 stories. Space is, after all, in short supply in Hong Kong.